Hello everyone, it's Nick here with Nick Tolman Music, and today we're going to continue our beginner guitar lesson series using Mel Bay's Modern Guitar Method, Grade 1. Today's lesson will be on page 41 of the book, and page 41 is going to talk about the key of E minor. So just as a reminder, in every major key, there is a relative minor. We talked about this in depth back when we learned about the key of A minor, which is the relative minor key to the key of C major. But the key of E minor is the relative minor key to the key of G major. So the last several lessons we've been working on have all been utilizing the key of G major, and the key of E minor is its relative major. Now that means that E minor has the same key signature as G major. They both have one sharp, which is F sharp. An easy way to find out what is the relative minor of any major key is to go to the sixth note of that major scale. So for the case of G major, if we go up the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sixth note will always be what will be the relative minor key. So G, A, B, C, D, E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The note E. So E minor is our relative minor key to the key of G major. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at this first exercise on page 41. It's called 2 E minor scales, and when we learned about the key of A minor, it included the natural minor. I actually don't know why they don't include it on this one. For me, the natural minor is really the most important to comprehend starting out, and then you kind of add the harmonic, melodic, things like that. But that's okay. The book is going to have us play the harmonic minor scale for E minor and the melodic minor scale for E minor. In this video, I will also play for you a natural minor scale so you can see what that's all about, because it is important to grasp that, okay? So let's just start with 2 E minor scales. We're going to turn the metronome on here at 72, and we'll just play through them. So here we go, starting with harmonic, and then we'll play melodic. 1, 2, and ready, and go. And now melodic. 1, 2, and ready, and play. Now, if we remember talking about the melodic minor scale, the melodic minor scale raises the 6th and the 7th note by a half step on the way up the scale, but then the way down is just a natural minor scale. So the second half of this melodic minor scale really is just a natural minor scale. So if you look at those notes only, those are the notes you would need for a natural minor scale. So I'm going to go ahead and just play an E natural minor scale for you at 72. Here we go. So E to E with one sharp, and then it'll be F sharp. 1, 2, and ready, and go. that's your natural minor scale. Now there's a little note here that says the above scales should be memorized. That is true. You should always seek to memorize scales. Further on in your guitar learning, scales are going to be a very important part of your progression as a player. So take this opportunity to just memorize these scales. I would also take this opportunity, if you didn't already, to go back to the page, I'll tell you right now, page 31. So go back to page 31 and memorize the A minor scales as well. If you haven't memorized your C major and G major scales that we've seen in previous exercises, please do the same. It's only going to serve you well when you go down the road to have these scales memorized and be able to have them just roll off your fingers. Okay? Alright, so let's go ahead. I'll play each of these scales for you at 120 on the metronome so you can hear them at a faster tempo, and then we'll move on. So here we go. E minor scales at 120. Starting with harmonic. 1, 2, ready and play. 3, 4, off. Now melodic. 1, 2, ready and play. 3, 4, off. And lastly, natural minor. E natural minor scale. 1, 2, ready and play. And there you go. Those are the E minor scales. Let's go and take a look at the middle of the page here where it says the chords in the key of E minor. And as usual, it's going to introduce 3 chords that are in the key of E minor. These are by no means all of the chords in the key of E minor, but they are 3 commonly used chords in the key. So let's go and take a look first at this new chord, which is the E minor chord. This is one of the easiest chords to play. It is oftentimes, especially when I have young students that I'm teaching, it's oftentimes one of the first things I teach, just because it's simple and you can play it and it sounds good. It makes you feel like you're doing something awesome on guitar. So all it's going to be is, as you see the chord chart here, we have an open E. Our second finger will be here on B, 2nd fret of the 5th string, and our third finger will be right here on E, 2nd fret of the 4th string, and then the last 3 strings will be open. So it's just 2 fingers, and you strum all 6 strings. Wow, that feels really good. Okay, so that's our E minor chord. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look at A minor. We already know this chord, so there should be no reason that we have to belabor it at all. Just as a reminder, as always, Mel Bay likes to tell you to play that low E open for E minor. That is not the case. That would be an A minor over E, so A minor / E. A standard just A minor chord. You are not going to strum the low E, so follow that fingering, but just pretend that there's an X right there above the low E. There's your A minor chord. And then lastly, B minor. So they teach us a really easy chord, and they teach us B minor, which is it's not a challenging chord, but it is a little bit, it requires a little bit more. I think this is the first chord that we've learned that actually uses all 4 fingers. Wow, okay, so let's break it down a little bit. First off, it's correct. You are not going to strum the low E, okay, but you're going to have your 2nd finger right here on B, 2nd fret of the 5th string. 1st finger is going to be right here on D sharp, 1st fret of the 4th string. 3rd finger is going to be right here on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string on A. Then we're going to have an open B, And then our fourth finger is going to be right here on F sharp. Nice. Okay, so this chord fingering is oftentimes challenging for people up front. It's especially just getting to it and from it can be a challenge. So I would spend some time just moving. You notice there is a pretty significant hand movement, you know, to take place to make that happen. So start just kind of going from an E minor to a B minor, or to a B7, excuse me. Back and forth as much as you need to. Then maybe try it from A minor. Ooh, that one's a little bit more tricky, a little bit more movement. And do your best to just kind of start getting comfortable with this B minor. Okay? Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at accompaniment styles in the key of E minor. We're going to start this one at 72 on the metronome, and we'll just play it straight down, including repeats. So here we go. 1, 2, and ready, and play. And that is that. Okay, so accompaniment styles in E minor. This is really pretty similar to exercises that we've done in other lessons that are called the same thing. Accompaniment styles in G, accompaniment styles in A minor, so on and so forth. But a couple things to watch out for on this. So first off, the E minor chord is really pretty simple. We're always doing that alternated bass thing, so we start with the root. The first 4 bars doesn't alternate, and that's fine. But as soon as we get into like the last 4 bars of the first line and throughout the rest of it, we're doing this alternated thing. So we've got root in the bass, chord, and then the 5th in the bass, or the B. Okay. So for E minor, that doesn't require any movement in your left hand. It's just hitting a different note with your right hand. Okay. And it's the same for A minor. There's not going to be any change with your left hand. It's just going to be all with your right hand. Okay, so we've got root, and actually the 3rd, which is C. Then we go to B7. Now this, it wants us to go down and play that 5th below. So we're going to pick the B, strum the chord, move that 2nd finger down to F sharp, and then strum the chord. But it's going to be really important when you do that to make sure that you're just hitting those top 4 strings. I mean, if you do get a little bit of the open A in there, it's not going to be the end of the world because an A fits in a B7 chord. It just might muddy it up a little bit from the sound that you're going for. So again, you got your, this is the second to last measure of the first line. You've got pick the note B, strum, and then a low F sharp, strum. So you're just kind of moving that second finger around. And this gets a little bit tricky, especially on the last line when we're doing the eighth notes, because it kind of goes back and forth. That's actually kind of fun to do. So if you want to get your B7 chords set up, just kind of practice going back and forth on that. Right, kind of give you an idea there. So let's go ahead and turn this metronome up to 120, and we'll go ahead and play through Accompaniment Styles in E minor at a faster tempo. We go 1, 2, 1, 2, ready and play. Yeehaw! Alright, those eighth notes at the end get a little fun on those faster tempos. But definitely fun stuff to practice. Okay, so one little thing that I will toss out, and I did say with the B7, when you go down to play that F sharp below, to just move your second finger, that is definitely an option. Another option you can experiment with would be maybe to use your thumb. So, yeah, I mean, it's not the most comfortable thing with B7, especially for me. I do use my thumb on occasion for certain things, but for the B7 getting the fifth below, it's always been more comfortable for me to just move that second finger. But try it out, see what works for you, and go from there. All right, so Orchestration Styles. Again, I'm going to take this opportunity to kind of plug in. I have a great exercise available on my website that is designed to help you develop strumming patterns, okay? So there's another Orchestration Styles exercise earlier on. I think it was when we were just learning the key of A minor. And we talk about the slash notation. Again, when you see these slashes, it's just telling you you're just filling this time with these chords, okay? Now the strumming patterns are up to you, and it's whatever makes sense with the music, right? And a lot of times you're just going to lock into whatever kind of groove is taking place. Like if you're playing with a drummer and you're just really, I mean, it's just like a rock. Right? You're going to play something that fits in with that groove. Right? But to get to that point, you have to just experiment. You have to develop different patterns and things that you know that you can do. Okay, so I've got a great exercise that'll help walk you, starting from the very simplest, which is just strum quarter notes, into a lot of different strumming patterns that you might use. Okay, so we're gonna play Orchestration Styles. I'm gonna just start at 100 on the metronome. We're just gonna leave it there, And we're going to try just a few different patterns so you can get an idea of what you might do with this. So starting out, just quarter notes, orchestration styles. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and play. So there we go, there's just quarter notes. Now, you can hear in there that I kind of started accenting beats 2 and 4. Would be a really common thing to do playing country or rock or blues, whatever, where 2 and 4 are always being emphasized, okay? So... Now I'm going to take that same concept. Now I'm going to strum 8th notes, but I'm going to still accent 2 and 4. Okay, here we go. So all 8th notes accenting 2 and 4. 1, 2, 1 and 2, and ready, and... That's the idea. Now, to get to that point, especially with the 8th notes, you're going to have to make sure that you have all of these chords under control, that you can move between them smoothly and easily. Probably the most challenging part is going to be that B7 chord whenever you hit it. So that move from like G to B7, which actually is not that bad, because when you go from G to B7, your second finger there on the A string is going to be the anchor, because you use it for G and it's in the same place for B7. So I just focus on that kind of being the anchor. Also, you'll notice that this high G with your 4th finger, from the G chord down to the B7, that's just going to slide down 1 fret, right? Down to F sharp. So focus on those fingers that aren't doing a lot and kind of isolate those movements. It shouldn't be too bad. Take it slow, build it up. And again, the strumming patterns can get more and more complex, right? They don't have to stick with just straight quarter notes or 8th notes. You might do something along these lines. So here's 100. 1, 2, 3, and... So that's just a few different examples of different types of strumming patterns that might exist or that you might be trying to work up to. The idea with this exercise is it's just getting you comfortable with seeing that and knowing that you can play these chords with a variety of strumming patterns, and that's what it's kind of for. So that's our lesson for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, please subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or otherwise, please leave them in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer those for you. If you enjoyed today's content and would like to see more of this content and would like to support Nick Tolman Music and the ability to continue to make this content, please check out my Patreon page, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much.